Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Google Cloud Infrastructure Spotlight. This is Nirav Mehta with the Google Cloud Infrastructure Product Leadership Team. Who would not want to hear about Snapchat and how they run their infrastructure in the cloud? I am super excited to have Aaron Sheldon of Snap join me today to share some of their journey on Google Cloud, particularly how they use compute infrastructure. They do a lot with us, but we're going to focus on compute today. Welcome, Aaron. I'm really happy that you've joined us. And why don't you start by sharing what your role is at Snap and how long you've worked with Google Cloud?
Sure. My name is Aaron Sheldon. I work as a software developer in Snapchat's infrastructure group, and I've been working with Google Cloud for the past 3 years.
And thank you for that. Aaron, when you look at what's important, how you evaluate compute infrastructure, what's important for Snap, what are some of the top considerations for you?
Yeah. So at Snapchat, the biggest considerations that we have are pretty typical. We worry about performance per dollar and actual performance. We also can check for normal metrics that people care about, such as throughput, latency, tail latency, um, things like that.
Yeah, and these are some of the core attributes that we shot for with respect to the new Tau VMs that we introduced. And you are, of course, one of our first customers of this VM family, which is optimized for price performance.
Mhm.
How did you go about evaluating the Tau VMs and what were the results?
Sure. So what we did is that we took some Tau VMs and put them into production in a couple of hand-picked services to just see how they worked relative to the other instances that were already in those fleets. We found that T2D delivered lower latency and higher throughput than our older instance types for all of the workloads that we tested. We generally do these kinds of tests using production workloads as opposed to synthetic tests because the amount of benefit you get in production is almost always different from a synthetic test.
Yeah, we actually had a very good appreciation for this. Of course, when we were building Tau VMs, we did a bunch of synthetic testing, but nothing validated our intentions better than seeing your results in production and the framework that you put in place internally to be able to mirror your production load and test new VMs has been hugely useful to us. What type of workloads are you running on Tau VMs, and could you quantify a little bit more what benefits you're seeing?
Yeah, sure. So we're running some pretty large workloads on Tau today, including some of our analytic workloads, Google Dataflow, and some of our large production services like Spotlight. The systems that we migrated to Tau have been able to reduce cost and latency substantially, and moving to T2D from other instance families has improved performance on Snapchat workloads from 10% to more than 25%.
Yeah, that's impressive. And I think equally impressive was how quickly you were able to change over to the new VMs. Could you talk to us about the role GKE played in this?
Sure. So Snapchat runs most of its infrastructure on GKE, and many of our services are stateless services. So replacing one instance type with another is as easy as replacing a node pool with another node pool and letting GKE reschedule all of the pods. This makes it pretty fast and easy to change instance types.
Yes, it was actually quite an important uh, consideration for us to support Google Kubernetes Engine on day one with any of our new VMs, including Tau VMs, and you took immediate advantage of that. Maybe we can broaden the aperture a little bit. A lot of the audience out there that's either just starting with Google Cloud or new to us, uh, what advice do you have? What do you want to share with them about how to work with Google Cloud to get the kind of benefits that you've seen at scale?
So Snapchat's been able to work with Google Cloud on a bunch of stuff that's in Google Cloud itself, like getting VM instances into zones and regions that we are want to be in, but maybe aren't delivered in yet. But we've also been able to work with Google Cloud on areas that might not be seen as obviously Google Cloud. We've been able to get help with making changes to Envoy, to Boring SSL, and the Linux kernel, just as a couple of examples, through our partnership with Google Cloud. This has been really beneficial for us being successful.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I think we've had a strong technology partnership between our teams working on more than just our Google services, but also underlying technologies like Envoy. Thank you so much for sharing that. I want to thank the audience for spending this time with us as part of this infrastructure spotlight. Hopefully, that was informational and useful to hear from one of our great customers. Aaron, I want to thank you for the time you spent. I can't wait to see what we do together next. And once again, thank you for sharing your journey.
Thank you for having me here today.